So this is your chapter 13 networks. Okay, we did the network chapter in P1 as well, but this is obviously the advanced part. We have talked about some of the topics, but I will obviously repeat them again since it's very important. Well, the entire discussion starts with the data packets because data packets are important as far as your second generation till fifth generation phones are concerned. Obviously the data packet is came after your circuit switching. Okay, and then data packets are used in your packet switching. ये आपको पता है. मैं recap कर देता हूँ सारे को. Now, basically, as far as circuit switching was concerned, okay, in circuit switching, if person A, मैंने पहले बात की, मैं दोबारा कर रहा हूँ, had to communicate with person B, there were these physical connections, switches, circuits that were supposed to be established. Okay, this was one switch, then there was another switch. So if A person had talked with B person, so a circuit develop hota tha between these two. Now, upon the circuit was connected, then they could. So this was done through obviously copper wires. Now the problem was obviously as number of clients kept on growing a lot, so you could not establish lots of circuits within city. The data was basically now transferred through its packet switching. Packet switching concept basically kya kehta hai? Obviously the data now goes in packets. Well, like I told you previously, मैं दोबारा discuss कर लेता हूँ कि your cellular technology होती है, you have these cells and these are your pico cells. These pico cells that you have are separated over a distance of 2 kilometers. Okay, ये आप किसी towers को उठा लो. So your data packet which will be cut down into 8 packets. Okay, हमने TCP IP की properties discuss नहीं. Have we discussed the properties of TCP or IP की properties before? Okay, let me discuss them again today. मैं इसको slowly discuss करता हूँ but in detail. So before I do that, पहले मैं discuss कर लेता हूँ आपके साथ is this. Let me do this first. Okay, so basically what you have is, let's talk about TCP. TCP has certain, TCP goes along with IP, obviously Internet Protocol, Transmission Control Protocol and IP Protocol. Protocol are different layers in network, they are different protocol layers, which means how data is transmitted from one form to the other form. We will discuss all the protocol layers within networks. So TCP IP एक ऐसी protocol layer है जिसमें what happens. So TCP has the following property. Okay. Now, the following properties are that TCP basically cuts down the packet into eight packets. Well, entire packet के packets में कर लेता है. Okay, so basically 8 bits in a byte, right? So TCP will label every packet with a sequence number. Okay, basically 1, 2, 8. TCP will patch the IP address of the recipient and the IP of the sender in the header of the packet, right? मैं सारा explain भी करता हूँ, don't worry. TCP will make sure that if a packet was not delivered, it will send the packet again. TCP is a congestion, congestion. TCP is a congestion controlled protocol. ठीक है और क्या होता है TCP requires handshaking to take place, right? Right. Now, whatever these points, इनका मतलब क्या है? First of all, is TCP cuts down the packet into 8 packets. इसका मतलब ये है कि आपका जो एक पैकेट होगा उसको कट डाउन करेगा into 8 packets. इसकी रेलेवेंस ये है कि मैंने आपको यहाँ एक्सप्लेन किया था कि if you cut down the packet into 8 packets, उससे क्या होगा कि your one packet can go this path, one packet can go this path, one packet can go this path, one can go this path, one can go this path. मतलब your packet will go. Abhi bhi right now when I'm giving this lecture, my packets are coming through different ways. इसका फायदा ये होता है कि there is no congestion. So if one of the tower is weak, it's not working. Multiple packets can go from here. So obviously this is where packets came in. So data packets were spread over different towers, over different cells, and they could reach the destination. This is what packet switching came in. So TCP cuts down the packets into 8 packets. Equal में cut करेगा. इससे congestion भी नहीं होगी. This is where this point is related to this point. So there will be no congestion. It's a congestion control mechanism because we're cutting it down. TCP will label every packet with a sequence number. मतलब ये है कि हर पैकेट जब कट डाउन होगा TCP क्या करेगा ये आपका एक पैकेट है इसको करेगा 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 अगर 8 में करेगा so 1 से लेके 2 3 it will label all the packets. Why will it label? Because so that if packet number 3 could not reach destination, TCP की property है कि TCP ने make sure करना है that the packet is delivered again. So packet दोबारा deliver होगा. So this is what happens. Okay, it will make a sequence number, and also TCP will do is it will add the IP address in the header of the packet. Header में लिखा होगा where it had just like the envelope where it has to go and where is it coming from. Normal life में when we have post we write the address of the house. इसमें we write the address, the IP address basically. So IP address of the recipient computer and IP address of the sending computer or device. So TCP ये काम करेगा. TCP requires handshaking. Okay, no, requires not required. Sorry, requires handshaking to take this. Why? Handshaking क्या होता है? Handshaking basically is a process just through which computers decide that we will start communication. मैं जरा इसको elaborate कर दूं handshaking को. What happens in handshaking is there are two kinds, even parity and odd parity. Well, अगर even parity में handshaking करते हैं इसका मतलब ये कि both computers should have the parity bit as even. अगर odd parity में करते हैं तो both computers or devices, if they want to communicate, they should have the data in odd and even. I don't have to go into detail. मतलब इसका बात यही है कि जो parity bit होगी, is it odd or even? So these are the properties of your TCP. I've listed them down. I'll share my notes with you as well. These are आसानी कर देता है पूरे टॉपिक को समझने के. Then you have is IP. IP does not basically have a lot of features. IP basically क्या होता है? It's just an internet protocol. So it's the address. It knows where it has to go. So technically अगर मैं आपको explain करूँ ना तो इसकी example ये है कि एक ट्रक है उसमें आपको चीजें deliver करनी है. So you put all the packets inside the truck. The truck is TCP. IP is the driver. Driver knows where to deliver it. That's it. IP का सिर्फ ये काम है. मगर TCP and IP दोनों साथ जाएंगे तो पैकेट डिलीवर होगा वरना नहीं होगा. Right. That's the entire story. तो इसमें MAC address का जिक्र है. MAC address basically the physical address. Okay. You'll find MAC address at the back of your even phone का भी होता है. एक Wi-Fi printer का भी होगा. Every device which is on the network will have its MAC address. Keep in mind. ठीक है. So MAC is a physical address, IP is a virtual address. ठीक है. आपके switches होते हैं ना, तो एक हर एक switch का, एक पूरे switch का एक MAC address होता है. Okay. एक cabin में अगर multiple switches हैं, तो every switch will have a MAC address. फिर उसके अंदर you have ports, and every port has its own IP address. This is why switch is used for star topology. And you guys know कि star topology क्या होती है? Star topology, you know what it is? Which is, इसमें एक server होता है, and this is basically connected with multiple computers this way. Here you go, right? So this is star topology. So central computer होता है server which is connected through this. मगर technical का देखा जाए, let me draw it with you. यूं होता है, मैं draw करता हूँ आपको. So basically this is the server. This is your switch. मुझे क्या draw हुआ होगा? Wireless, no, नहीं draw हुआ. ये आपका switch है. Okay, sorry. This is your server. That's your server. That's your, let's say, your switch. Or switch के through your computer. Okay, 1, 2, 3. ये सारे आप computers connected हैं, let's say. So that's the way it's done. So server का connection जा रहा है आपके switch में, and through switches ये ports हैं आपकी, ये सारी 1, 2, 3 ये सारी ports. These are connected to the clients. So basically it's one-to-many relationship, as you can see. Server with clients. That's your client. That's your client. That's your client. Okay. हमारी lab में भी we have is such a kind of topology. क्योंकि through the server you can administer the clients. You can give them the rights. Okay. जिसमें how much data can they save? What can they do on the desktop? They can take a print command or not. मतलब you can control everything. इसी के साथ you obviously we have the bus topology and the ring topology. हमने पहले पढ़ा होगा. The bus topology होता है कि you have two end nodes and the computers are basically attached. एक इधर. So on a line computers are attached. Bus topology is used where there are less computers. Ring topology होती है कि basically if you join these together, then nodes so you get a ring and your computers are connected in a ring. Ring and bus are used in network where there are less computers to be used, and there is no central server controlling it. Hub is used in ring and bus because hub is a dumb device. Hub does not send the data through IP addresses. जो ये switch होता है, ये switch जो है, switch basically does is it works through IP addressing. It will know the IP address of every client. And if I have to send data to C, to this computer, it will only go to this. It will not go to this. Hub, if I send the data, it will go to all the clients. It's a dumb device. It does not have its own dedicated microprocessor. A switch has its own dedicated microprocessor and is configured through IP addressing. Okay? And it's used in star topology. Hub, के लिए what you can hear is, a hub is also can be classified as a multi-port repeater भी so कहते हैं. So ये आपका let's say wireless access point से काम करता है, computer है, ये switch है, से Wi-Fi है, and this is how the computers are connected. Okay, Wi-Fi. So and network interface card, you know what it is. ये आपके जो आप ये back पे लगता है Ethernet cable, laptops में, routers में, even आपके smart TV के back पे you have is a wireless network interface card. You have it over there as well. Okay, so through coaxial wires, you can connect physically your device, your computer with other devices. It's done to that. Okay, laptops में भी आता है. Router, obviously, all of you know what router is, wireless router. Router is used to route the data. Router basically has a routing table. Routing table क्या होता है? A routing table basically has the information कि कौन से computer का कौन सा path है or what device. So it will know that where do I have to route the data. So routing table will consist of IP addresses of the devices and computers where the data has to go. Okay, so पहले routing table establish होगा, पर उसके साथ we can route everything. Okay, So programmable routing table be available hota hai in sophisticated routers as well if you can connect them. Okay, so that's the role of router. Computer ho gaya, switch ho gaya. Okay, so computer, then you can have a router connected and you can so through a WAN, which is internet, के through आपने आपका connection आया through an ISP through a router, or router से गया आपके switch में, switch से you can connect to multiple computers. That's the way it happens in our lab as well. So repeaters are used in LAN to basically boost the signals if they deteriorate, okay, over time. So typically over 100 meters, your signals will be deteriorated and they have to be reboosted using repeaters. Gateway is a general terminology that is used when we go from one environment to the other environment. For example, when the ISP, say, when we use an ISP, inter-service provider, to connect us to the WAN, to the internet, and then we connect to the internet. So basically, router is a gateway. It helps us to connect from our local environment to an external internet. So we call it a gateway. Okay. So typically, again, I repeat, it's basically an interface, a device that helps us to connect to a different network or a different environment. A bridge is used to connect two LANs together. That's it. दो LANs हैं आपकी. आपने दो LANs को साथ join करना है. We'll use as a bridge. ठीक है? Firewall is a hardware, is a software as well that is used to not allow malwares to come in. If they do come in, you have an antivirus. Okay, so firewalls are very important. They build your built-in firewalls inside routers as well. Okay, firewalls basically do is they help us to get rid of denial of service attack. Does anyone know what a DOS attack is? What is a DOS attack? Let me not keep on talking. You might have heard of DOS attack. Denial of service attack. Denial of service. Anyone? Give me a rough idea. Denial of service. क्या मतलब है denial of service? जो DOS attack होते हैं ना आपके, ये यूजुअली आपने नोट किया होगा, ये नेटवर्क बेस्ड एनवायरनमेंट में होते हैं कि एक सर्वर में DOS attack हुआ. It happened with my website 4-5 years back. So basically एक ऐसा वायरस अटैक होता है जिससे listen, right now अभी you're using your computer. अगर तुम you open up Photoshop, Flash, Animate and really heavy softwares right now, सारे on कर दो. Why does your computer hang? Your computer gets halt because it cannot perform all the services right away. Your server, आपका जो processor वो कहता है, I cannot perform and all these facilities right now, so I'm denying it. इसी तरह denial of service attack ऐसा होता है कि you are attached to the server. Whether you're locally attached or whether you're remotely attached, वो बात नहीं. अगर remotely भी हो, अगर आप server पे कोई ऐसा virus malware send करते हो, and due to what will happen is that this particular virus will keep on sending signals and commands to the server again and again. Every second, there will be numerous instructions that will be given to the processor of the server. Once you're giving so many instructions to the processor of the server कहता है, yeah, I cannot handle so many processes, so server hang कर सकता है. So if you visit a website जिसमें DOS attack हुआ हुआ है, it will give you internal 504 error, which means that the request could not be performed. Request का मतलब ये है कि you asked for a copy from the server. Server कहता है, no, I'm too busy right now. I can't give you a copy. So it's down. Because the server was there to, let's say, do 1,000 processes in a second. DOS attack से ये क्या हुआ कि आपने एक ऐसा malware बनाया जो बार बार रिक्वेस्ट भेजी जा रहा है सर्वर को अगेन एंड अगेन जल्दी 1500 requests in a second. Server will get hanged. So DOS attack is a very nasty attack that is done within the network environment where a malware will keep on sending repeated requests to the server unless and until the server cannot perform its functionality. This is known as a DOS attack. Is everyone clear about DOS attack?
Yes, sir.
Subhan, clear हुआ? Is
Yes,
it?
sir.
हाँ, ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है, डॉस टाइप क्वेश्चन जरूर आता है P3 में. ओके, मैं बता रहा हूँ यार, P3 इज ऑल अबाउट नॉलेज, अ लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज एंड हाउ टू आंसर. आपने अपने नोट्स बनाने हैं, स्पेशली मैं बता रहा हूँ P3 के चैप्टर्स के, स्टार्ट मेकिंग योर नोट्स अभी से ही. डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम. ओके, आई विल सी योर नोट्स व्हेन यू कम टू स्कूल. आप सारों को ठीक है. सर्वर्स, आपको पता है सर्वर्स डिफरेंट काइंड्स के होते हैं. ये फाइल सर्वर, योर प्रिंट सर्वर, मैं इसको रिकैप कर देता हूँ. मेल सर्वर, एप्लीकेशन सर्वर. फाइल सर्वर होता है where basically you save all the data. So every client will be given, let's say, 500 MB they can save. So all the clients' data is saved in file server. Print server is used to handle lots of print jobs. Okay, आपके scans में print server बना होता है, because when people and students send a lot of print commands, they should be handled through a dedicated server that can basically create a queue, a sophisticated queue for all the prints coming in. And it can handle all the jobs without any delay. Mail server is used for your local internet-based emails to be set up, okay, to check in the viruses and stuff like that. Applicant server is used so that all the applications which will be loaded from the server can be loaded in the application server, and then they can be given to the client. The proxy server, on the other hand, is a server that is used for connecting your computer, okay, your network environment to the World Wide Web, okay, through the ISP, the Internet Service Provider. Okay, the diagram that I showed you over here was this one or this one? Yeah, this one. So over here, what can happen is, even this one, I can explain this one. So ISP gets connect to you, that's your router. Okay. So over here, you can have a router supply, you can have over here is proxy server. So you connect, or ISP aa. So ISP gets connected to the proxy server, and proxy server gets connected to the router. So proxy server is important for any sort of virus that might come in. It will take care of that. आपने proxy settings भी देखी होंगी. You'll not allow any website to users देख सकें. So there is restrictions will be done in this. Bandwidth, obviously, bandwidth का मतलब होता है कि how much amount of bits of information can be transferred, and bit rate is the speed at which they can be transferred. Okay, so bandwidth is basically the amount, and bit rate is the speed of data that can be transferred with. Okay, like maximum possible speed that we're talking about. Bit streaming का मतलब यही होता है. If you look at the diagram as well, ये दिखाया होगा कि आपने में देखा होगा YouTube में या वीडियो ऑन डिमांड में कि when your video is being displayed, it now अब सॉफ्टवेयर के थ्रू they have is a buffer which is created जिसमें सारा लोड होता रहता है, and then uninterrupted you can view the video. So obviously, if your video is being played at a very good resolution, let's say 1 megabyte per second, for example, just an example, then obviously your video streaming has to be minimum 1 megabyte per second. If it's not, then there will be a delay. There will be an interrupt. Frankly, the video streaming should be at least 1.2 for this to play, so that a buffer create होता रहे. It keeps on filling in, और साथ साथ ये होता रहे. कई दफा ये भी होता है आप नोट करो पूरा बफर हो जाता है, and then you can easily view it. Okay, obviously you know what it is. आपने देखा होगा ये. Circuit switching, I just talked about it. That was your circuit switching. We just talked about it. A physical switch established. Packet switching, I just talked about it, and I told you how does that work as well. So we did that. Massive switching basically is not used now. It is mostly used जब आपके वो होते थे I don't know you remember or not, आपने कभी देखा होगा कि एक डिवाइस होती है जिसमें मैसेज आया करते थे. Okay, छोटी सी devices people used to look into it, and pager device होती थी. So that was using message switching. It's not used much now, so it was just used to receive messages. So opposite हो चुका है. Optical given infrared, you know what infrared is, right? इसके भी आपको points बनाने पड़ेंगे, फिर आपको समझ आएगी कि infrared is used by transmitting electromagnetic radiation. Okay, that is just okay. और इसमें क्या है कि इसकी it does not have very high bandwidth, right. मैं इसका टेबल शेयर कर दूंगा आपके साथ obviously. Okay, so if you have obviously some instruction which cannot do it, आप तो आपको पता है इनफैक्ट कहाँ यूज होता है, पहले फोन्स में कॉमनली यूज होता था, ब्लूटूथ आ गया है, अभी स्टिल आपके जो रिमोट कंट्रोल्स में यूज होता है, ठीक है. If you compare it with Bluetooth obviously has much better data transfer rate. तो इसका कंपैरिजन आप बुक में भी मेरे ख्याल से नहीं है, तो मैं नोट्स में कंपेयर कर दूंगा. ऑल दीज इंफ्रारेड, फाइबर ऑप्टिक की स्पीड, इंटरफेरेंस वगैरह कैसी है सारों. You know what fiber optic is, all of you. So you have light photons traveling. Okay, इसमें टैप नहीं हो सकता, लाइक कॉपर वायर्स को तो आप कनेक्ट कर सकते हो, इसमें उस तरह टैपिंग करना आसान नहीं है. I mean, it's not very much possible to do it. Okay, it provides a connection to hundreds of households. Okay, and it's much faster, right? Okay, laser technology can also be used. It is used in military to transfer information as far as communication is concerned. Okay, it can be used in places where there are no communication lines. Laser technology can be used as a part of communication. Okay, there can be little interference with atmospheric conditions as well, right? Okay, right. Military use laser transmit live video from aircraft as well. Okay, and this also is traveling at the speed of light. Then we have discussion of Bluetooth. मैंने कहा नहीं, Bluetooth हो गया और ये Wi-Fi हो गया, इसके सिर्फ comparison table है जो आपको share कर दूंगा. You should just remember the properties of it. Wi-Fi का आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि Wi-Fi के there are two standards. One is 802.11 AC, okay, which have speeds up till this much, okay, compared to this much on previous standard. The previous था आपका ये standard था. You have to remember this अगर Wi-Fi connection आता है. So two standards are there. That's this maximum speed that you have. Okay. एक previous version था, एक नया version है. So Wi-Fi की where is the application? Obviously, there's even a lot more than this. आपको पता है इसका idea? Okay. Radio frequency identification is basically used in lots of places. Okay, it's used to locate items in a warehouse. It's also used in passports. So it's radio frequency. There's a chip that constantly sends a signal and you can track the objects. Garment store में radio frequency की chips लगी होती हैं, animal tracking के लिए use हो रहे होते हैं. So यही RFID tag होता है जो एक strong सी plastic casing में होता है, and it constantly sends a signal to an antenna. Okay, and there's a reader reading it. So once this signal breaks down, it will send an alarm. Okay, so this is how you can track items and all that using RFID. Okay. Then you have is your contactless payment, where you have is your network near field communication. So near field communication is basically used in the credit cards as well. So you don't have to actually touch the device. Loyalty cards will be hota hai. You can just bring it near and the transaction will occur. Okay. Right. मैं इसको स्टेप बाय स्टेप ही करता हूँ, मैं इसको ज़्यादा लेंथ नहीं करता. जितना मैंने डिस्कस किया, प्लीज लेट्स टेक लीव इट टिल देयर. हम इसको कल यहीं से स्टार्ट करेंगे, क्योंकि इफ आई मेक इट वेरी लेंथी तो एक तो आप लोगों के लिए नोट्स बनाना मुश्किल हो जाएगा, प्लस सेकेंडली व्हाट आई वांट ऑल ऑफ यू टू डू इज कि टिल ओवर हियर दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड RFIDs तक. RFIDs तक प्लीज व्हाट यू विल डू टुडे इज यू गो थ्रू इट, you make down your keywords notes, and if you don't get anything you will ask me tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be able to finish it, but let's do it in 2 parts. I can finish in 1 day, no problem, मगर फिर वो उस तरह डिस्कशन नहीं होगी. और चैप्टर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, मैं बार बार कह रहा हूँ. मैं एक ग्रुप में भी शेयर कर देता हूँ. Okay, and we will obviously continue more of the protocol discussion tomorrow. इसको हम कल इसको फर्दर डिस्कस कल इसको हम खत्म करेंगे इस चैप्टर को इंशाल्लाह बाय टुमारो. एनीवन हैज एनी क्वेश्चन? एनीवन? दुआ सुभान एनीवन? मैं आपकी अटेंडेंस ले लूं. सो आई एम शॉर्ट टुडे, मगर इसका मतलब ये है कि आप बाद में इसके नोट्स बना रहे हो. मैं आपको बार बार कह रहा हूँ, प्लीज डोंट फॉरगेट टू डू दैट. मेक योर नोट्स if you want to get really good marks in P3. P3 is challenging. मैं आपको बार बार बता दूं. 13th September. Okay, so fine. I am just finishing now, right? If there is no question. Okay. Noor, Sania, Subhan, Heather, all of Munib, Aisha, make your notes में बार बार कह रहा हूँ, ठीक है? Okay, I'll have a look at your notes afterwards. Okay, guys, fine. Get back and go through it. Okay.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, beta. Allah Hafiz.